Good evening, everybody. This is Danny from Danny's Luxury Cruise Vacations with Brian Campbell from Celestryl Cruises, a Greek cruise line. We're going to spend a few minutes with Brian today on board the Royal Caribbean's ship.
Navigator of the Seas.
Navigator of the Seas. Had a little senior moment there, folks. We're going to spend about 5 or 6 minutes with Brian discussing his product. They are a cruise line focused on the Greek islands. They do cruises out of mainly Athens or Piraeus, the port city. And I'm going to let Brian take it away. He's going to spend, like I said, a few minutes just telling us a little bit about his product, which I think is fantastic. It's not your typical cruise line. They are very port intensive, and he's just going to share some of his wonderful knowledge about his products so I can share that with you lovely folks, my clients or prospects. So here you go, Brian. Please take it away. Tell us about your wonderful cruise line.
Thank you so much, Danny. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much for taking some time to sit down with me in the beautiful library of the Royal Caribbean Navigator of the Seas. So happy to share some detail about Celestryl and who we are. We are the preeminent cruise line based in Greece and the Greek islands. We operate 2 mid-sized ships that offer all-inclusive cruising in Greece and the Eastern Mediterranean. The smaller ship, the Crystal, usually sails with about 900 passengers on board. The larger ship is the Olympia, which usually goes out with 12 or 1,300 on board. We operate a number of different itineraries. We have 3, 4, and also 7-night itineraries that focus in Greece and the Eastern Mediterranean. As you already mentioned, Danny, we home port out of Piraeus, which is right in Athens. So every cruise you can start and end in Athens, which is fantastic if you want to spend time in the city before or after. But we have 3 and 4 night cruises that do, the shorter itineraries do 2 ports a day for that time. So they're very, very port intensive. You get to see a lot and you get to cover a lot of ground or a lot of sea, so to speak, at one time. And then we also have a number of 7-night itineraries that focus not only in Greece, that have overnights in Mykonos and Santorini on our idyllic itinerary, but we've recently introduced 2 newer itineraries to the North American market. The Eclectic, which has an overnight in Istanbul and also features Çanakkale, Turkey. And then I'm not sure if you're familiar with Meteora in Greece. There are monasteries that were built on rock and cliff sides. The Eclectic is another wonderful itinerary focusing on Turkey and some other ports that not everyone is familiar with. And then the third itinerary that's 7 nights that we've included is our 3 continents itinerary, which you leave from Athens, you make your way to Egypt, where you get to spend a full day, and we have an included excursion. As I mentioned, we're all inclusive. It goes out for more than 12 hours to see the pyramids, the Sphinx, and the Archaeological Museum in Cairo. After a wonderful day in Egypt, the next day, you're going to head over to Israel, and we port in Ashdod so that you can go see Bethlehem or Jerusalem. And we also allow groups to do embarkation from Israel on that itinerary. It's all inclusive, so we include shore excursions, alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks, port charges, gratuities. There's onboard entertainment, but the difference about Celestryl in comparison to some of the other brands that cruise in the region is that we are the preeminent cruise line based in Greece. You don't have to cruise to get there. We start there. So it's very, very port intensive. And our goal is to deliver the destination better than anyone. The Greek experience on board is shown through cooking classes, through dancing classes. If you like Greek salads, you're going to be in wonderful, wonderful company because we have Greek salads all over the ship. Much of the staff is Greek on board, so our goal is to deliver the destination, and really the ships are an extension of the destination. So even though you're going to spend so much time on board, when you get back, or on shore, when you get back on board, you're not losing the Greek touch. You're not feeling like you're going back into a different world and going on to another country. It's really about being immersive in the destination. And with a country as wonderful as Greece, it's important to deliver the destination. And so that's what Celestryl Cruises does. We bring the destination on board. It's very, very immersive. And a country like Greece that was shaped by the sea, there's really no better way to experience the country than by being on board a Celestryl Cruises vessel. Whether you're on the Olympia or whether you're on the Crystal, you're set to have a wonderful all-inclusive experience in Greece and the Eastern Mediterranean with Celestryl Cruises.
Ryan, that's fabulous, and that's wonderful. Just a couple of questions, if I may. As far as your clientele, would you say there are an international clientele more geared towards Americans? If you could just share a little bit with us, please.
That's a great question, Danny. So right now, 40% of our business is coming from North America, which means that we are an international brand. So you will see a very wide array of travelers on board. You have people that are trying to see new destinations that aren't necessarily cruisers, and you have a lot of cruisers that travel with us because of how well we deliver the destination. So we have education groups from the United States, we have international groups from Asia and Australia, we have events like honeymoon travelers and people that are going out to experience Greece for their first trip as a couple after they've gotten married. There is really no limit to the type of traveler you're going to see on board. So no matter who you are at home, Celestryl Cruises will have another traveler like you that you can get along with, that you can have a wonderful conversation or a wonderful dinner with. English is the primary language on board, so for all of us from North America, it makes it very easy. English is preferred. However, 40% coming from the US or Canada, and then you have another 60% of travelers that are coming from Europe or the United Kingdom or elsewhere around the world. So you get an opportunity to have wonderful conversations with different types of people and different age groups. So there's education groups, there's retiree groups, there's travelers that are coming from all facets of life, which as a traveler, it makes it wonderful for conversation and dinner conversation.
Wonderful. Brian, I certainly want to thank you for taking your time out of this wonderful conference to help me with this. Again, my name is Danny with Danny's Luxury Cruise Vacations. I can be reached at 201-664-0142 or at Danny's Luxury Cruise Vacations. Please, if you have any interest in that wonderful destination, you like architecture, history, ancient sites, this is a perfect cruise for you. And again, Ryan, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. It was wonderful. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much,
You're
Danny.
welcome.